This is a constitutional process. A former president, so I don't mention his name, said, should the provisions of the Constitution here reviewed by be found not to secure the government and rights of the states against usurpations and abuses on the part of the United States, the final resort within the purview of the Constitution lies and in an amendment of the Constitution according to the process applicable by the states. We all took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, which also means to follow it. We often point fingers at the federal government, how we perceive them to be acting outside constitutional boundaries. But we should be pointing fingers at ourselves because we, state legislators, are key to ensuring the federal government remains within its constitutional boundaries. We have clearly failed. It is our explicit duty and responsibility to restore the balance of power between the states and the federal government when that balance has been lost, which it has. The federal government isn't operating under the Constitution as originally written, but as interpreted by the Supreme Court, which has either intentionally or inadvertently distorted the meaning. For example, some decisions made in the 1930s granted power that allowed the federal government to spend and regulate on anything they want. With amendments, we can reassert the original limitations which have eroded over the decades. Just like the 14th Amendment overturned a terrible Supreme Court decision, we can do the same. There are questions about how or if amendments will work. We only have to look back in history to see that they do work, and we can go back at least 100 years. And we are following all of those amendments. We don't have slavery. I can vote. The president has 2 terms in office, etc. It would be pretty good to have fiscal responsibility for the last 100 years or even 50 years. There's nothing dangerous about proposing amendments. There have been over 10,000 amendment proposals, only 27 ratified. The founding era proposed and ratified amendments. The Constitution was ratified with only 7 articles. There were no amendments. No Bill of Rights. Article 5 was one of the 7. They intended we use it, as they did, to limit the federal power. Our country has gone off the rails. It is the state legislators who are authorized by Article 5 to restore constitutional restraints on our federal government. We cannot correct this by using the exact tool the founders put in the Constitution. Let's be a courageous, not a fearful body and engage in this constitutional process to restore our public. Thank you.